Hey guys, Carolina Bass Angler here. Today in this video, I'm going to show you how to rig the Texas rig. Now, this rig is a widely known rig across bass fishing. It's probably caught more fish than any other bait out there. And it's just the most versatile. I can throw everything from a worm to a crawl or a little creature bait like this brush hog here. I'm going to show you what I use. I'm going to show you what setup I use, what weights I use, what hook I use, and what line that I use, and what I recommend. Basically, like what I recommend for the basics of Texas rig fishing. Now, some of you are beginners. Some of you are like, what is this guy talking about? Of course, I know how to throw a Texas rig. I know how to rig it. I know everything there is to know about it. Well, you probably do. But there is some people that need help on what bait selection to use, what weight to use, what hook to use. Basically, when I was fishing, I would just throw any kind of hook I would think would catch a fish, and sometimes I'd miss bites, and I just didn't know. So, it gives those beginners, if you're my age or older, just gives you a basic knowledge of the rig. Like I said, I'm going to show you line, baits, hooks, weights, setups, and I'm going to cover almost all of what I use for Texas rig fishing. Let's cover baits first. I basically just showed you all of them, but I use a worm, a trick worm. I love the trick worm. These are all Zoom products right here, but a crawl. I also like this is a speed crawl from Zoom. I also like the Rage crawl. This is a brush hog from Zoom. I also like the structure bug, like beaver style baits, like the D-bomb from Missile Baits, and the structure bug from Strike King Rage. But those are the baits, three main types of baits that I throw: worms, crawls, and creature baits. I'm not going to get in the flipping side of Texas rigs. A lot of guys use those 1.5 ounce weights with a bobber stop and like a 5/0 to 6/0 straight shank hook. That's not what I'm going to do. Basic Texas rig fishing is what I'm focusing on right now. Hook selection. Now, there's two types that a lot of people throw. I know some guys like to throw straight shank hooks. To know a lot about the hook, this is an offset right here, where your bait sits. So if I'm rigging this thing up, see, that is where the bait sits, right there. So that's where the bait sits, and that's called the offset. Now, a lot of, I don't have a straight shank in here because I don't hardly use them a lot, but that straight shank that a lot of people use usually has a keeper on there, but I'm not going to get into that. But an offset worm hook is where you want to use, is what you want to use for just all around thing. There are extra wide gap hooks. This is what I usually use. Just a basic worm weight, a worm hook like this gets the job done. I like both of them. I use both of them. The weights, there's brass, there's tungsten, there's lead, there's all these different kinds of things. Like, what are these things? Well, there's two main types that people use a lot. And there's advantages to both, and disadvantages to each other. A lead weight and a tungsten weight. A lead weight, it changes shape. Like the holes, sometimes they close up, and it's bigger, but lead is more compact. It's louder when it hits wood, rocks, all that stuff. Makes more noise and stuff. It doesn't close up on you. Like I said, it's more dense. It's more smaller. It's more compact. and you can have more weight and it being smaller than a lead weight. And some that can be really good because a lot of guys say the smaller the weight, the more realistic action your bait has, more like a worm or something like that. So, those are disadvantages, but a disadvantage of tungsten, it's expensive. But some guys say it's good for the environment, whatever. Sure, that's true. That's exactly true. But a lead weight is not going to really, mess everything up. But at the end of this video, I'm going to show you from each category I'm going over what I would use. So I'm going to go over my setup here. Now, I used a lot of different line. I used braid for a little while. I used fluorocarbon. I used a mono. All of them work. I just wouldn't pick braid. I really wouldn't. You can do a braid to a fluorocarbon leader if you want to, but I like straight line on most of my reels. But what I've gone to is fluorocarbon. Now I do like fluorocarbon just because this is my jig rod that I use fluorocarbon, and also Texas rig. Texas rigs are good are good with fluorocarbon because it sinks and the fish can't see the fluorocarbon. So those are advantages to it. But I use 17-pound fluorocarbon. The line I use 17-pound, Seaguar and Vizex. The only reason, now let me go over this real quick. The only reason that I tell you brands, it's because I use them and I have confidence in them. And I've been using it for a while. And I said down in if you look at my channel, it says about, it says I only do reviews on things that I use, that I really like. Now, the Jackall Rhythm Wave, I've heard really good things about it, and that was just telling you about this bait, so I can tell you, try it out. But I've seen the action on it, and I thought, man, that's going to change, swim baits. Reel speed, I like a 7-speed reel. I have, tried it out, casting it and stuff and working it back to actually see how it performs, in my yard. A lot of people say the 7-speed reel, messes up the bait and moves it while you're doing it. You just gotta get used to the reel. You just gotta crank, small little things. But a little small movement of the bait is not gonna mess up your bite at all. A 7-speed reel, you can really have an advantage over the fish in cover, like heavy cover. I like to pitch, little Arky style jigs and flipping Texas rigs into wood and getting them out of there. I like to throw around trees, stand-up trees that have been flooded out, and throwing around them. I like the 7-speed reel. Just let me put a scenario for you. I'm going down the bank real quick, and I flip into this. I see a little pocket. I see this little offshoot, and I flip in there, and it's a bad cast. With this 7-speed reel, I'm going down the bank real quick. I can burn it back to me, flip in there again, and potentially get a bite and get a fish in the boat. So that's why I like a 7-speed reel. You can use 6s. I use a 6 for almost. I used a 6 for almost everything. I just wanted to try a 7, and it actually works really well. Rod, a good jig and worm rod, 7 foot to 7.2 medium heavy. You can go crazy and get it and be super finesse using 10-pound line with your finesse jigs and your 16-ounce weights, and get a medium, and then you can go super overkill and get an extra heavy 7 or 7.5, 8-foot rod. I'm talking about basic Texas rig fishing. That's what it says in the title. So if you look on Tackle Warehouse and you look at the descriptions for each rod, not all of the rods have these, but mine said, this is Gene Loomis's best all-around jig and worm rod. So I got this, and it's absolutely true. You know, it's got the right tip action for fishing, you know, those lighter Texas rigs, and it's got that backbone and toughness to fish those jigs in that really heavy cover. You know, it's that good of a rod. So that's really just my basic all-around jig and worm rod right there. All right, so I showed you my rod. I'm not gonna talk about any more about that, but I'm gonna go from each of these 4 categories. 17 pound is what I use for Texas rig fishing. A little round bend, that's what I'll be using. And a worm. Guys, a worm can just catch fish, all kinds of worms. You know, you have, corporate worms, you have those speed worms, just a worm. I like fishing worms. I'm talking like, if I could only fish it for the rest of my life, I'd probably go lead. It doesn't tear up your wallet at all. Just throw in $1 for like 5. It's pretty good. So, but it does have its disadvantages. But that's probably what I'd throw. But I do like tungsten, honestly. Now, the actual rigging process of this rig is really simple. All it involves is a bullet weight, like this one here, and you slide the top of the worm weight in first. You just leave that. Then you take whatever hook you like to use. I like to use one of these. And you can tie your favorite knot. I either use an improved clinch knot or a polymer knot. I like an improved clinch knot. Snip it, and you're good to go. Now, if you want me to go more in depth on knots and stuff, be sure to leave a comment down below if you need that. Guys, that is what I'd use for Texas rig fishing, and this is just a basic video for you beginners, and maybe you just want to refresh your mind. This is just what works for me. You can take from this, I don't care, and you can copy the same stuff I use, but I don't care. We're fishermen and we want to catch fish. That's all there is to it. So guys, I'll see you in the next video, and Happy New Year.